Yo, welcome Wrestling Talk fans and people all over the world. What's going on to another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts? This is your immaculate co-host.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
J Mac Main here with the host with the most.
Saheem the Dream. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. We are going to get into some news and rumors. We're going to jump right in. We're going to slide right in. So the first article of news and rumors we have is WWE Raw sets a new record low audience going into Extreme Rules. Man. All right. Let me just read off a little bit. So what we have here coming from article from Wrestling Inc. It says Mondays, the horror show at Extreme Rules Go Home edition of WWE Raw, featuring the final build for Sunday's pay-per-view, with Sasha Banks and SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley retaining the WWE Women's Tag titles over Kairi Singh and Raw Women's Champion Asuka in the main event, drew an average of 1.561 million viewers on the USA Network, according to Showbiz Daily. Ouch. This is down 7.5% from last week's 1.687 million viewers, which was the second lowest viewership in show history, going back to May 4th episode, which drew 1.686 million viewers. This week's Raw viewership is the lowest in history of the show. For this week's show, the first hour drew 1.697 million viewers. Last week's hour, 1.697 million. Okay, all right. I read the same number. All right. The second hour drew 1.599 million viewers. Last week's second hour drew 1.752 million, and the final hour drew 1.504 million viewers. Last week's third hour drew 1.612 million viewers. Interesting.
Wow. I mean, I agree. I watched Raw last night, and I kind of was sort of uninterested at first, but I was like, all right, I gotta watch it too, just to see, give it a chance. The first hour, I'm not gonna lie to you, the first hour, maybe hour and a half, immaculate, like the best Raw I've seen in a while. And then
Really?
after that, I definitely lost interest. So I can see why the viewership, and again, we have to take into account this is a go home show, and with it being a go home show, you expect the build to be a whole lot bigger. Aside from the returns that we had last night, other than that, I mean, again, I lost interest for the whole tag match. I mean, I watched it, but I kind of lost interest with it.
So I told you before, bro, like I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was busy, had to catch up on some work. But I'm going to view it tomorrow. I'm going to view it tomorrow just to look into it and see how it is. And I'm definitely taking your word for it about just the build toward the Extreme Rules, which is very interesting because it's like when it comes to these pay-per-views, it's like we want there to be a big buy-in. Like they got to have something to make us want to go, and watch it on the WWE Network.
Right.
And it's been interesting because some of these, they've gotten a lot better with, trying to build to the pay-per-views a little bit better, not as good as they used to back in the day, You know what I'm saying? Where they had better build-ups to that pay-per-view.
Mhm.
But because for like a long period of time, they were just slapping stuff together and just saying, "Oh, hey, we have Backlash coming out this Sunday." Why didn't you be like, okay, yeah. So just slapping together. Drew McIntyre. I'm sorry. Next article we have Drew McIntyre marks milestone in his WWE title reign. Okay. This is scary. This is scary for me. I'm gonna tell you why. WWE champion Drew McIntyre is celebrating 100 days as champion today. Drew McIntyre took to Twitter this afternoon and marked the milestone with a thank you message to his supporters on Twitter. 100 days as WWE champion. Thank you to everyone who has supported me along the way, but we have a long way to go. Here's the next 100. Cheers emoji he throws up, and McIntyre tweeted. I'm gonna tell you why this kind of scares me, right? It's the same, the whole thing with Adam Cole, right? When Adam Cole started, boasting about his year-long reign, and then here it is. It's like 2-3 weeks later, he doesn't have the title anymore. The same thing with The Undertaker. It was like when they started talking about The Undertaker's streak, when the Undertaker streak became such a prevalent thing to talk about, became such a prominent thing to talk about. And it was like, oh, the streak. Then all of a sudden, here we are. Like, it was like 2 matches later, the streak is broken. Then CM Punk, the same thing. It was like when CM Punk, they was like, oh, he has the longest reign in modern day history. Da 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 da. All of a sudden, The Rock comes, title is taken off of him. Last person, AJ Styles, same thing. When AJ Styles, I think AJ Styles hit a year mark on almost a year, but he almost had a year with the belt. And they saying, oh, AJ Styles may be running for possibly the longest WWE title reign in modern history. It was like, boom, the title was taken off of him. And when Brock Lesnar, when Brock Lesnar had a Universal title, he had it for like 500 and something days, which is like one of the longest, which is like the longest reign in like in our, in modern history right now, like, modern, right now, currently. But they never mentioned it. They never really mentioned about his 500-day reign. They mentioned it like briefly, but not too much, not as much as those other guys. And then when they talk about that reign or how long they had the belt, is like, I feel like Vince in his mind says, all right, time to break his streak,
But now let's look at it from the other side of the fence. With this being his first, main roster championship, he's excited about it, and it's like a kid, when you get something, you're just like, yes, like, you're like, oh my God, like I'm at this point. So that's probably what it is. And as you just stated, sometimes it's, you state the obvious, you get a little bit overzealous, you get happy about it, you start bragging a little. Vince happens to pull that rug from you, like, all right, we had enough, so
right.
So I mean, it's it's 100 days, which is a good milestone, but and I understand he wants to celebrate and definitely show the world that hey, I did it, I finally did it, and he even stated he may not get another title right after this, so why not ride it till the wheels fall off.
So what is your optimism like? What do you feel like as far as your history and knowing wrestling, knowing storylines, knowing the twists and turns, understanding that sometimes these situations come to a halt and we're able to predict these things before they come?
Right.
How do you feel? How confident? How confident? Because it's interesting. It's like when certain people get the belt, and even though we may like them or not like them, there's a certain confidence that we feel about the length of their reign. Like we have it's a weird sense of security not a weird sense of security, but there's like a sort of like a sense that we feel when we know, like, what, I think this person may have like a reign, like for a long time, or I think they're going to have a lengthy reign. Like, what is your sense of security concerning Drew McIntyre's reign?
I think honestly, Drew is a situation where By default, he may keep it for a minute, and the only reason I say that is because of the fact that who else you gonna give it to? I mean, there's really no one else.
I got people you can give it to, man.
I mean, well, obviously we would want certain people to get it, but realistically, in Vince's mind,
right. In Vince's mind,
right? In Vince's mind, there's nobody that could get it. Yeah, right. Because he's, Drew McIntyre is like what, 6'5", 6'6", or something like that. Yeah,
200 and something pounds. So that's like Vince. Drew McIntyre is like Vince's wet dream of a wrestler. He likes big, brawny guys. He likes to put the belt on bigger guys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Pun intended. But that's Vince's thing. Vince really likes bigger guys. Interesting enough. Interesting. Next topic we have, I think. So I read about this article, seen this topic before, thought this was an interesting topic, and I wanted to bring this up. I ran across the article again on Wrestling Inc. and finally looked at it and said, all right, this would be a great topic to talk about. Okay, so Cody Rhodes on CM Punk asking for an astronomical amount of money during AEW negotiations. AEW, this is an article from Wrestling Inc. AEW Executive Vice President Cody Rhodes recently spoke with Alex McCarthy of Talk Sports to promote Wednesday's Fight for the Fallen edition of AEW Dynamite on TNT, which will see Cody defend his TNT title against Sonny Kiss. Cody was asked about comments recently made by pro wrestling veteran Conan on his Keeping It 100 podcast. Conan claimed that former WWE champion CM Punk asked for too much money from AEW during his contract negotiations with the company. Conan said he was told this information during his own talks with AEW. He said Punk asked for an astronomical amount of money, and AEW really wanted to work with him, but he asked for too much money. This is what Cody says. Cody says, I'll just read just this quote. I don't want to read the other three quotes, but just this quote. As far as CM Punk's negotiations go, everyone heard the famous, he got a text from us. Yeah, of course there were negotiations, and he did ask for a great amount of money, and Punk is worth a great deal of money, but you also have to, and this isn't speaking to Punk specifically, this is speaking to recruitment and what we've learned in wrestling in general. A lot of people think these wrestlers are running this wrestling company.
Wow. Now, before I get into how I feel about it, let's flip roles. If you're Tony Khan and you are starting up AEW and CM Punk asks for an astronomical amount of money, would you have given this to Punk to join your AEW roster?
Ask that question one more time. I'm sorry.
All right, so you are Tony Khan. You're running AEW. Yeah. You're about to start your company, and you have negotiations with Punk. And Punk does ask for this astronomical amount of money.
Yeah.
You, as the owner of AEW, about to start a new franchise.
Yeah.
Are you giving Punk that money to sign with
you? Yeah. I'm going to tell you why I would give Punk that money. I'm going to tell you why, and you probably would agree. Before I get into that comment real quick, Dolphins fans 0209 on YouTube just posted. He responded to the comment concerning the title reigns. He says, and Nikki Bella as well when she lost to Charlotte. Absolutely. He was responding to the when people brag about the title reigns and when they wound up losing it to another superstar. If you guys got a comment, you want to comment on a subject at hand, we will post your comment. We will read your comments below. Comment, talk to us, man. That's what we're here for. Hell yeah. I'm gonna tell you why I would sign CM Punk, because we all know as wrestling fans that CM Punk is money. CM Punk has a star power. I would watch if CM Punk went to AEW, I would watch it. You would watch it, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm an unbiased fan I was not a CM Punk fan when he was in the indie circuit. I was not a CM Punk fan in his early stages of WWE. When that whole pipe bomb gimmick happened and he broke that spell that was on WWE, that PG era spell, I was instantly a fan because he was breaking through that that cloud that was over WWE that was holding the talent back from saying what needs to be said and cutting awesome promos, and he was so real and so raw and authentic, and I became a fan. But not only that, but CM Punk was saying a lot of things that were true. He was speaking a lot of truth, and absolutely I would sign CM Punk.
Yeah. I'm kind of breaking up there, bro.
He has that
breaking up. Sorry, he's having technical difficulties. Yeah. So
and I said this before. I said, Jay, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, you were going.
Right, sorry about that. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back. All right, so I was silent because CM Punk has that drawing power. CM Punk has that ability to draw in crowds of people, and not only that, but CM Punk is a must-watch champion and a person who will draw in people who've never been into the sport or never seen the sport. He has that ability, and of course, I definitely would draw because Punk is our modern day Rock. He's our modern day Austin, and he can do it absolutely. I don't know how much he was asking for though, because I know like when I did some research on like just WWE contracts. I know John Cena at one point he was like the highest paid. He was getting like $5 million per year in this contract. I know Undertaker at one point was getting like 3 million, 2 million, something like that. I know Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar outbeat Cena. I think he beat him by like 2 million. I think he had like 7 million or something like that. No, I'm sorry. So Brock Lesnar was more than Cena. But again, I don't know how much he was asking for. But I'm gonna tell you this. This is my last comment. If you guys want to comment below, drop a comment below. My last comment is this: the reason why he asked for so much is because he doesn't want to come back.
Right, which is true. Yeah. Now, to answer the question I asked you, if I was Tony Khan, and Punk asked for this money, absolutely, I agree with you. Hands down, you give it to him because you're starting a new organization from the ground up. No, you have people, you have names that people know, but CM Punk was one of the, I say, one of the hottest free agents. If you bring in Punk, are you going to have fans of that want something different? You're going to have a lot of WWE fans who love Punk, who's going to watch it just because he's there, like and myself and you included. And then and now you're really going to have a war because now you're going to have a situation where you're going to have a battle. Now, like you said, you started watching or paying attention to Punk when he started, with the pipe bomb. I was actually watching him when he first came because he first came the straight edge, guy. He came in, with the tape, the long hair, and and he looked like a punk rock guy. It would come and just beat the brakes off you, So he was appealing. He had that look, to him. And then he kind of cut his hair with the Straight Edge Society, and he started skyrocketing from there. But yeah, like I said, hands down, I don't know what was on Tony Khan's mind, and I don't even know. And like we said, we don't know what he was asking for, and we know he's asking for like he doesn't want to come back. But you push his hand, like, all right, you want this? Show up, perform, and let's see.
Right. And let's see if you show up for real. I got a question. Last question before we move on to this article. Hey, if you guys got any comments below concerning CM Punk asking for loads of money to sign with AEW, would you sign CM Punk? Do you feel that CM Punk should ask for a great, like a huge contract worth millions and millions of dollars? Do you think Punk is worth it? Do you think? Do you even feel or may feel like Punk dropped the ball for leaving professional wrestling? Let us know your comments. Let us know your thoughts. So my question is this. I have my answer, but do you think that with CM Punk's star power going over to AEW, it could potentially put that pressure that WCW had on WWE concerning the Monday Night Wars.
Absolutely, because right now, Vince looks, because right now, they put NXT up against AEW to see, try to gauge to see how it is. And you bring a name like Punk, who, like I said, he has a huge fan base. Fans love him. You know what I mean? And even though Cody has that same fan base, but Cody was, he went to New Japan. But Cody wasn't a main star in WWE. He was a main star, but he wasn't heavyweight, star quality. Jericho was there, but then Jericho's recent run, he was mid card, intercontinental, second tier. So, but to have somebody that was at the top of the game in Punk, who was in the main event picture, heavyweight champion, all that stuff, and you bring somebody like that over to AEW, there's no way you can't watch. And Vince would know that, and Vince would be like, all right, you know what? Let me try to. I gotta change it up because I can't let this company who has one of the top stars on their roster outshine us. And in defense mode, because as we mentioned a couple shows before, he's signing Rob Van Dam, so therefore Rob Van Dam doesn't go to AEW.
Right. Okay. Do you think that CM Punk going to AEW will have the same effect as Hogan turning heel in WCW? Because that's what comes to my mind. I think about when I don't want, if I get into the history, it's going to be a lot. We only have we're limited on time, but I just want to ask that question real quick.
CM Punk going to AEW as big as Hogan's heel turn. I'm gonna say, I don't want to say I would say it's a close second, and the reason I say that is Hogan's heel turn was iconic because for years we knew Hogan as the red and yellow machine, and the darling, the baby face. And the fact that we all looked at Hogan as that, and to see Hogan do something bad, we're like, wow, wait a minute, what? So that's why I said it was a close second, because at the end of the day, Punk going to AEW, it's gonna turn heads, it's gonna shake records, and it's actually and since his last appearance was in the Royal Rumble, he had a couple UFC fights that didn't go as well as planned, but bringing somebody like that, everybody's gonna watch to want to see what he's gonna do. So that's why now if he had just won. Let's say he pulled out an Alundra Blaze when she went to WCW and dropped the belt, then I would be like, it's going to be on the same tier as, the Hogan heel turn. But since Punk hasn't really wrestled in a couple years, and, his last time he was actually in a one-on-one competition, he lost. So, that's why I said it's right under that Hogan heel turn.
Okay. Excellent. Moving forward. Hey, you guys joining us. Drop a comment below. We want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you guys think about this CM Punk contract signing or negotiations with AEW. We want to hear from you guys. We want to know your thoughts. We want to talk to you guys and discuss this topic with you guys. So we have we have some more news. I'm sorry. This next news is we have this concerns backstage news on Bianca Belair, WWE return to Raw, and Kevin Owens getting a push on Raw soon. So I know you're happy about Bianca Belair returning to Raw. I didn't get to see Raw. When I spoke to you earlier, you told me you was happy, you was satisfied, you was content with Raw. I was like, all right, JJ is happy with Raw. I was like, whatever it was, it had something to do with somebody he liked, or it had to be very, very, very interesting. And I can see why, because we didn't get to the Queen of Spades yet. But yeah, I found out that Bianca Belair had a match. Shayna Baszler showed up and cut a great promo. But yeah, let me just get into this real quick, read this article. So we jump to that part. So backstage news on Bianca Belair's WWE Raw return. Kevin Owens getting a push soon. Bianca Belair was brought back to WWE Raw TV last night due to Liv Morgan's absence. Last night, Raw saw Belair and Ruby Riott defeat the Iconics. It was noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that the match was originally supposed to be Morgan and Riott versus the Iconics, but Belair was moved into the role as Morgan is away right now. Morgan has been away from Raw since late June, and there's no word yet on when she'll be back. She stopped appearing right in the middle of the storyline with Riott and Natalya. Belair was called up to Raw after WrestleMania 36, and while she has recent wins on WWE main event, whatever, right? She hadn't been used in a Raw ring since her win over Santana Garrett on April 20th show. I'm sorry. In other news, on plans, so that's pretty much it for Bianca Belair. She just came in to fill in for Liv Morgan. I'll just get into this last part real quick. In other news, on plans for the Raw brand, WWE reportedly has a backup plan for Seth Rollins if Rey Mysterio doesn't re-sign with the company. As you guys may know or may not know, Rey Mysterio was in negotiations and re-signing with the WWE. He decided not to re-sign with the WWE. I believe Jay McMahon has an article on it. He's going to fill us in on that real quick. In other news, for the Raw brand, WWE reportedly, they have a backup plan for Rey Mysterio if he doesn't sign with the company. It was noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE will move forward with Rollins versus Kevin Owens if Rey leaves. Regardless of who WWE puts Owens with next, he's likely in for a push, as it was noted that he is figured in high up on the card for the Red brand. So Kevin Owens, that's great news. I would definitely want to see Kevin Owens in the main event. He's supposed to get a big push. He's supposed to get a push after his feud with Rollins. So now that we know why Bianca, so before we even get to Rey, because I know you got some news on Rey, concerning why he didn't resign and why they have this backup plan with Kevin Owens in the place of Rey Mysterio after their feud ends or may come to an end at Extreme Rules. Because after Extreme Rules, if Rey signs, then a feud continues. If Rey doesn't sign, then the feud doesn't continue. And if it doesn't continue with Rey, then they're going to have Kevin Owens come in and he's going to run a little program with Seth, and then they're going to push Kevin Owens, into the main event picture. So you're going to fill us in on that. But let's talk about Bianca Belair real quick. So one thing we know, she's there. We're happy. Mm-hmm. She's on Raw. We don't know when Liv Morgan's coming back. So Bianca Belair has now filled in a slot. So now she has the proper airtime that she needs to be on. But the problem is the fact that the potential of what she can deliver is only seen by her filling in a position for somebody who's not there.
Right. And it's funny because we had this conversation about a month ago. How basically it was like Ruby Riott is gonna have Ruby's gonna go back and forth for programs with Iconics, and eventually Liv was gonna come save her, and eventually have a match at Extreme Rules, which we talked about. And we saw it play out, but unfortunately, Liv didn't show up. And Bianca was, opportunity presented itself, so she was, a victim of, in the right place at the right time, let's say. Now, it sucks that that they just used her for that. Hopefully, moving forward, they continue to use her, but I'm sure she's going to be used in the storyline, once the Street Profits take on Angel Garza and Andrade, because obviously they have Zelina, and it would just make sense for Bianca to come out to kind of even the odds there. So I'm sure they're going to use it there, but I hope moving forward, because this is the go home show for Extreme Rules. So after Extreme Rules, hopefully we can see these women Bianca and Shayna more consistently on Raw because of the fact that you're not building up for a pay-per-view anymore. I guess you'd be building up for SummerSlam at that point, and there's no. And matter of fact, WWE better not have SummerSlam without Bianca and Shayna in respective matches on that card.
Oh man. Real quick, we have a comment from Dolphins fan. He said, I would sign Punk just because I believe he would be a very big draw to the company and it definitely would turn heads.
Great.
I'm happy Belair is back and hope she stays. We agree with you 100%, Dolphins fans. Thank you for joining us today. To get to, so this is my concern is, I totally agree with you. My other concern is I hope they don't use it as a jobber,
right?
Because it's like if they didn't see the potential that she has when they brought her up in the first place, and then just to bring her to main event. And I understand, I get that Vince McMahon and the company, they're trying to run the company as best as they could in the sense of trying to spread out talent in different places. So, Bianca being as talented as she is, she's being put on main event because they want to, bring more viewership to, more hardcore wrestling fans who like Raw, who like SmackDown, who like NXT, who like NXT UK, but then also want to see, and who also like 205 Live, but then they want to see main event. You know what I'm saying? So these are like just a plethora of programming that they have. So they want to spread their talent thin. But the other thing is that Bianca can do 2 shows. She can do main event and do Raw. I mean, I don't know if that was offered to her. I'm just being presumptuous right now, but she can do Raw. I would like to see her more on Raw though. But I just hope the reason why I made that statement is because I hope they don't use it as a jobber, because if they didn't see the potential to put her on Raw as like a mainstay, to build some strong feuds with people there, then I feel like they would probably just look at her as like, oh, she's just going to be here just a job, a few matches, and then we're going to probably put her back down at main event. And then if we feel like we have a storyline that fits her, which will be like the Street Profits storyline with, Street Profits feuding with Angel Gaza and Andrade, then
I don't see them using Bianca as a jobber because us not knowing wrestling. Let's just say we have never watched wrestling a day in our life, and you just see Bianca Belair. There's no way that you can tell me that you can have. You can't really name a lot of superstars there that you can go that can go in and actually you can see realistically. That's like, okay, well, damn, I can really see them beating Bianca. Maybe Shayna, but no way you can put Bianca and Liv Morgan in a match and tell me Liv is gonna beat Bianca, straight up. Any one of the Iconics, Ruby Riott or any of them. So I feel like they have those kind of women to be jobbers more so because they're more believable at being jobbers and losing matches. But Bianca doesn't have that look. She doesn't have that physique to sit here and lose match after match. So that's why I don't really doing that to her. And Shayna's another one. Like imagine them saying, "Hey, Shayna, you're gonna lose to in a regular one-on-one match to Liv Morgan. She's gonna beat you clean." You're gonna be like, "Yo, what? Wait a minute, time out."
Right.
So so I mean, like I said, there's certain women that have the look to be jobbers, but Bianca Belair is definitely one of them that do not have nowhere near the look to be, to be a jobber.
Right, and Vince, man, Vince, Vince will. It's so interesting how Vince takes risks with certain situations, and he took a risk on Carmella. He took a risk on what's his name, Jinder Mahal. The good risk that I like is he took a good risk on Kofi. He took a good risk on Braun after he had already dismissed Braun from the heavyweight title picture. But I'm glad that he decided to take a risk on Braun. And I mean risk because these are people that sometimes get people who are either overlooked or unappreciated. So Braun, in my opinion, Braun and Kofi were like unappreciated. Jinder Mahal and Carmella are like overlooked. You know what I'm saying? but he took that chance. But hopefully he does the same for Bianca. You know what I'm saying? He just and again, like I agree with you. Like Bianca has a great look. You know, she's attractive and she has an athletic build, and she looks like Charlotte. She looks like a black version of Charlotte. With the base, she got the base. She got the base. You know what I'm saying? Like she had the base and the muscle. You know what I'm saying? We got a comment from Dolphins fans. He says, with both Belair and Shayna back, would that ultimately start their feud back up from NXT, because that was a great feud?
Well, it was. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. Like both, that was a great feud. I did like them. And the two matches they had at Takeover were great matches.
Yeah.
But I think at this point right now, they're on different paths. But I would love to at some point see them cross paths and have another epic match because they can tear the house down. They really can, because they've done it at Takeover. But at this point right now, I don't see them have, because Shayna is going one way and Bianca's kind of going another. So I don't see them doing it right now. I hope that they do it, but I agree with you, Dolphins fans. They definitely had a great feud.
Yeah, and I think that they will eventually do that. Dolphins, like Dolphins fan, I think they would eventually do that, because they do that with all the wrestlers who it's so interesting. Is like like with Triple H and The Rock, they had excellent chemistry in the Intercontinental division. So when it came to the heavyweight division, and they were, oh man, that feud, to me, that's to this day, I feel like there's no feud that tops that feud, because what it did for those two guys, and just that feud itself was just amazing. Yeah, man, of course. And the thing about it is they like work, and if they had a great feud, it ultimately means that they like working together. And most wrestlers who like working together, definitely when they get that heavyweight title, they like, you know what, I want to work with this person. Let me run a program with that person, and they try to pitch it backstage. All right, let's move forward real quick, because we run out of time. Last article we have. Okay, this one is a little tasty bit. I thought this was very interesting, and I thought this will actually be a cool idea. So Bayley and Sasha Banks wants to defend against Trish Stratus and Lita at WWE SummerSlam. Ooh, they trying to build big. Okay, I see Bayley's trying to avoid a little, trying to extend her little friendship with Sasha. Anyway, let me get to the article. It says last night the main event saw Sasha Banks and SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley retain their tag team titles over Kairi Sane and Raw Women's Champion Asuka. Bayley took to Twitter after the show and said they want the WWE legends at the biggest show of the summer. I believe. Yeah. Bayley says, let's see another dream match down. Another victory won. So after we get all the gold, Extreme Rules, ... we will take Lita and Trish at SummerSlam. Thank you. #Raw. Bayley wrote. So this is what she wrote. I want to know what you Dolphins. Let me know what you think about this match. How would you feel about this match? What would you think about this match? If you guys are joining us on the replay, let us know what you think. What are your thoughts on this potential matchup if they make this happen? First off, let me just say, Trish Stratus is in retirement. Would she come out of retirement to have this match? If Vince pays her well, she definitely would. Would this be a dream match? Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Lita and Trish Stratus. Okay. I guess it's like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. My honest opinion, this is like a semi-dream match, because a dream match, like a tag dream match to me, honestly. And I'm quite Esco's gonna love this. He's gonna love this comment. But a dream match, against Lita and Trish would be Charlotte and Becky.
Okay.
So if Becky and Charlotte fought Trish and Lita, to me that's like a dream match. I'm like, yeah, like this is like you have like two of the hottest like females in their division versus two of the older hottest females in their division going up against each other. That's a dope match. That's a dope match. I would love to see that. And Trish Stratus put on an excellent match against Charlotte Flair.
She did.
That was a great match. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. I was very entertained. I was like, okay, Trish. I was like, you actually got better with that time off.
Do I personally want to see Bayley and Sasha versus Trish and Lita at SummerSlam? No. I would prefer to see Sasha and Bayley defend their tag titles against Harlem Heat. Not even that's for me, because that would finally shut Sasha up for her, absurd remarks saying, "Oh, we're better than, we're better than Harlem Heat." Now, what do you think about this one? And I would say based off size and and work ethic, Sasha and Bayley defend their WWE Women's Tag Team titles. And I know this is a dream, but they defend their titles against Paige and AJ Lee. That would be more of a dream match for me, based on the same size.
I would salivate. Okay, that's to me that would be better. I mean, either or. Becky and Charlotte versus Lita and Trish, or Paige and AJ Lee is like that's like really a dream match, because one, Paige is cleared. She's cleared to wrestle. She's actually cleared, medically cleared, but she's taking the time on whether. Oh, I'm sorry. That's like other news too. Like Paige is actually medically cleared. She's been cleared for like a few months now.
Nice.
And
That's nice. Great. It's great news.
Yeah, but she hasn't given word whether she's going to step in the ring or not, whether she wants to take that risk. And then the other thing is you have AJ Lee, and Punk. Punk doesn't want to have nothing to do with his in-ring performance inside, in WWE. So I'm quite sure AJ Lee is on the same page as Punk, in that aspect. But I would love to see AJ Lee come back. Yeah, I love AJ Lee. I thought she was dope. I loved her. But that'll definitely be a dope match. AJ Lee and Paige versus Trish and Lita. Oh yeah, that'd be dope. The crowd will go crazy.
Oh, absolutely, hands down.
The crowd will go crazy. So let's get into Raw, because we got a few minutes left. We're winding down. We almost winding down to the full hour of the show. So yes, let's get into the Raw. So I didn't catch Raw.
Okay.
So let's just talk about the thing. I mean, and you can tell me all the stuff that didn't matter, the reason why it was the highs and lows, but I just want to talk about the real big juicy part, and that's Shayna Baszler coming back. The Queen of Spades has returned.
Yes.
She has returned. And I seen the segment. I watched the segment. I was able to catch the segment where Shayna Baszler comes inside the ring and she beats up the ninjas, which is stupid. But it was good though. It was good though, because there was no joking around. There was no joking around. She wasn't playing games. She was like, I ain't even come to. She's like, I know I beat these ninjas up, but I really wasn't beating them up for you, R-Truth. I was doing this because I need to make a statement real quick and then leave the ring. But I'm gonna tell you, she threw shots at Asuka and she threw shots at Bayley. And what was going on in the back of my mind was, what if Shayna Baszler takes the title off of Bayley? And I'm thinking, I'm like, because I would love to see Bayley and Sasha feud over the title, but what if Shayna Baszler takes the title off of Bayley, and then Sasha Banks eventually takes the belt off of Asuka, and then that runs into a feud? That's what I was thinking in my head. But
the only problem with that is, you know, Shayna's on Raw, so that means she would have to somehow go to SmackDown and do that.
yeah,
And and you know, I'm a Raw guy, so I would definitely love to keep Shayna on Raw. Now, as far as the match with Sasha and Shayna, that could be potential. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love Sasha.
yeah.
But let's be clear. How the storyline is and how they're building their characters, Sasha does not stand a chance. If she, because you know, Sasha couldn't even beat Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey was rough. But imagine a more polished, more ruthless Ronda Rousey, which we have in Shayna Baszler. Sasha couldn't stand a chance. I'm sorry. I love Sasha to death, but against and how mad and angry Shayna is right now.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, but listen, hey, man, listen, I understand what you're saying, because from the proper context of storyline, Sasha Banks wouldn't stand a chance. But in Vince's mind, all you need is a couple of curve stomps and a couple of claymore kicks, and you can beat anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, according to Vince, all you need is 5 or 6 finishes to that person straight. Match is over. That's it. It's everybody's weakness. You know?
Right.
Or maybe just, you know, a bunch of suplexes around the ring, and you know, the match is over.
Right.
But I definitely agree. So let's get into Raw real quick, because we're winding down. Yes, fill us in. So tell me, well, fill me in. Tell me the highs and lows about Raw, the good spots, bad spots.
All right, so obviously, you know, me being biased, my personal high was Shayna and Bianca. You know, the segment with, like you said, with her beating up the ninjas was epic. You know, what's his name? Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy. I'm sorry. They took away the Murphy. Oh, no, they took away Buddy. So, Aleister Black and Murphy had a decent match. They renewed their rivalry. That was a good match.
Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, so they had a match, and that was a decent match, which then led into Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins in their match, which it was a good match until the ending. The ending was kind of weak. And I'll let you watch that and you'll be like, what the hell? But the comedy segment with R-Truth, he's comedic gold. You know, that was a good couple backstage segments, and he keeps calling Ricochet Richard O'Shea, which is hilarious.
Richard O'Shea, okay.
Yeah, we had another episode of the VIP Lounge where VIP is still parading around with the U.S. title, and you know, he had Dolph as a guest. Then Drew came out, and then, you know, Drew caught him with a little sucker punch, which was kind of, you know, weak in my eyes. But
so Drew caught Dolph, or he caught
Dolph. He caught Dolph with a little sucker punch. You know, and then backstage, you know, Drew was having an interview, and then Dolph attacked him, and they had a little fight backstage, where Dolph still had not announced the stipulation for their match. The Viking Raiders had a tag team elimination match with Andrade and Angel Garza, which was pretty decent. What else happened? Then we had, you know, Randy Orton versus R-Truth. And it was funny because Ric Flair told R-Truth that Randy was going to hit him. He wasn't going to punch him. He wasn't going to punt him. He was going to hit him with an RKO, which definitely was exactly what he did, and ended up pinning him. R-Truth never got a chance to take off the 24/7 title. And they noted that R-Truth is a 37-time 24/7 champion.
24/7, I-95, 7-Eleven, European South, Intercontinental, European Television, WCW, ECW, AEW, NWA, was it 24/7 champion? He's everything. He's everybody's champion.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. So that match happened, and Randy Orton challenged Big Show to an unsanctioned match next week on Raw, which Big Show that obviously accepted.
Okay.
Then I believe that was it. And outside of the Raw the women's tag title match, which ended Raw again.
Okay.
Decent match. I actually kind of thought Kairi Sane and Asuka was gonna pull it off at one point.
Yeah.
And I definitely like, Sasha and Bayley's wrestling gear. They went more with the leather look, which was, kind of cool. And
Wait, look, Bayley and Sasha?
Yeah, they had more of the leather kind of look, which was decent. It was different. I liked it.
Black leather?
Yeah, black. All black, yes. And Richard O'Shea had a one-on-one match with Bobby Lashley. And, he had a little stint where, you're like, oh, my God. He hit Lashley with a couple moves. And he went for his, springboard backflip off the rope and got caught in the full Nelson. It was a wrap after that.
Okay. So let me say this real quick. So my wife, she watches wrestling with me, right? It's so funny. I love when unbiased people watch wrestling and they look at wrestling and they just notice certain details that we notice that we think is silly as well. It's the funniest thing, right? But my wife, she likes wrestling. She likes wrestling. So she has an unbiased view. And she's watching it and she's like, what is he doing? She said, what move is that? And I said, oh, it's a full Nelson. And she was like, so how did that knock him when Bobby Lashley caught Ricochet with the full Nelson? I think the first time they fought, and it knocked him out. She was like, how did that knock him out though? She's trying to figure out how is his arms being behind his back, knocking somebody out. Like it's like I understand how your arms being propped up behind your back, and it was so funny. And it's like yes, it was like WWE, you need to cut out the ridiculousness. Now I understand if it causes pain. Right. And joint pain mind. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, all right, I'm tapping, and you like, trying to hold yourself and trying to put yourself together. But you getting put in a full Nelson and you falling flat out, like you out cold. It's just like
remember I made that statement when he put R-Truth in a full Nelson and then Akira Tozawa ended up, taking the 24/7 title from him. And I had the same question. I'm like, he was in a full Nelson. And he were knocked out to the point where Akira Tozawa looked around, crawled in the ring, and pinned from a full Nelson. Like I had the question, which was so weird.
Right now, mind you guys, this is not. We're not dumping on pro wrestling. We're not dumping on pro wrestling. We love wrestling. We're just talking about sometimes when they use, they use silly moves to like, it's like a person knocking you out with a feather, like you're in a hardcore match and you use a feather to knock somebody out. It's just like, okay, all right, we understand it's entertainment, but you guys are taking this too far. And it's like, why isn't anybody screening this? Why isn't anybody like, looking at this and saying, all right, you know what? I think we shouldn't. I think whenever you put the full Nelson on somebody, they should not be knocked out. But very interesting. I'm sorry. So you were saying something else. You were saying, is there more to the show? Oh.
Let me see. Randy Orton and Truth, the women's tag titles. Dolph and Drew had a couple fights. Angel Garza. I believe I covered everything.
This is what I wanted to say. You said the women's tag team title defense ended the night of Raw. You know what? Again, okay. So what they need to do is they need to take They need to take segments with Drew and book him at the end of the show. I know they're trying to build this importance of the women's tag titles and the women's division, and I get it. But they need to balance it out a little bit more, because again, Drew is the heavyweight champion. His whole feud with Ziggler that needs to be booked at the end. Ziggler is a fan favorite. Drew is a fan favorite. You need to book that at the end of the show because we want to see how this feud will turn out. Even though most of our assumptions is that Dolph Ziggler is not going to walk out world heavyweight champion. Though I would love that. That would make me very happy. That would be an excellent birthday gift. But it'll be good entertainment. But again, Drew has a great run with the title right now. I would love to see that. Dolphins fan has a comment. He's sharing with us. He says, "I see Sasha actually losing to Asuka. but I think that would be a good match if the crowds were there, but I doubt it happens. I'd rather see Charlotte and Becky versus Trish and Lita. So Dolphin fans was responding to the dream matchup between that Bailey she presented on Twitter about her and Sasha going against Trish and Lita, and he's responding to that about my comment concerning Charlotte and Becky versus Trish and Lita. Also, Dolphins fan says, or how about Belair and Mia Yim versus Bailey and Sasha?
Good one.
Ooh.
That one.
Ooh. Okay. That was a good one, Dolphins fans. I like that. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah. Okay.
And what's funny about that, Mia Yim recently tweeted, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, she tweeted Bianca and said, "I miss you," and Bianca tweeted back, "I miss you more." So you never know.
You never know. You never know. And we hope, you never know, but we hope so. I would like to say, you never know, but we hope so. I really hope that actually happens, But, again, somebody posted something up on one of the wrestling groups. They posted a cemetery. And there was a guy standing there. I don't know if you've seen a picture. I think you've probably seen it. And it was Vince McMahon in a suit. And the cemetery had a bunch of tombstones. And it had the tombstone. It said NXT burial. Wow. And it had the name of every NXT star that went up to the main roster and Vince buried. You know what I'm saying? But somebody put Kevin Owens up there. But Kevin Owens didn't get. Kevin Owens had a burying moment, but he didn't get buried. Right now, he's going to get a push.
Like Undertaker, he pulled his hand out of the dirt and drug himself out.
Yeah, right, exactly. You thought you're just gonna get a push. The hand comes up.
In every casket match, the guy's laying there, and Undertaker tried to close the casket, and he stopped it and pushed it back out. Right. That was for Kevin.
Right, that was for Kevin because Kevin actually did. Kevin got a good run, and I felt like it was Triple H, and I felt like Triple H made it known to us, I'm making this happen, and that's when Kevin Owens won a Universal title, which I thought was dope. I thought that Seth was going to get it. It felt so predictable. But when that swerve, but again, that's that Triple H swerve, baby. That's why he's the game. That's why we love him, because he knows how to put that swerve in. Just when you think it's gonna go this way, it's going that way. Not this way, not that way. It's going that way. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, okay, all right. But that's that Triple H swerve that we love so much. And but but Kevin didn't get Kevin, and the burying moment that Kevin had was when Kevin went on SmackDown Live and he cut that excellent promo where he was talking about why Shane is on TV so much, and he's not even a wrestler, which made so much sense. And why is he even winning a trophy of greatest wrestler in the world? It's like, you're not even a wrestler. It was so insulting. But then how they kind of just didn't use that momentum that Kevin Owens had and didn't push him. You know what I'm saying? They kind of pushed him to the back. But now he's getting this push because his talent is much needed. And with that. But yeah, so that does it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we are close to our hour mark, and we want to end on the hour mark. We want to cut the show down short because we want to give you some time to kind of enjoy the show. We don't want to make it too long. But yes, guys, we thank you for joining us for Wrestling Talks and Thoughts and our Raw review. Please, in the comment section, drop your comments below. We will respond to your comments. If you're watching us live on Facebook, drop a comment below, and you're catching a replay, drop a comment below. Let us know what you think about these news and rumors. How do you guys feel about the Queen of Spades return? How do you guys feel about Bianca Belair now returning on Raw to fill in that vacant slot? What do you guys think about Extreme Rules and how things are going to go going into Extreme Rules? Please join us again for another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. We will come back to you guys live on Facebook and YouTube to do the NXT review. And then on Friday, we're going to do the SmackDown review, but most of the show we're going to dedicate to Extreme Rules and the predictions and the outcomes. So we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your comments. We want to know your thoughts. That's what Wrestling Talks and Thoughts is about. It's about the talk, the conversations that we like to talk about as wrestling fans, and your thoughts as fans as to how the show's going to go. So please drop a comment below. Subscribe if you're on YouTube, if you see our page on YouTube, and please join us again for another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. I am your host, Saheem the Dream,
and your co-host J Mac Mizane.
J Mac Mizzou, take us away, baby.
What's up?